Hi, welcome back to the Traveling Yoga Mat. If you're here looking for some yoga, some flow, and movement, then you're in the right place. Let's go ahead and get started in a comfortable seat. So for today's practice, you don't need any props or anything extra. Anything is optional. You can invite in a blanket, a block, a bolster, anything to elevate your practice as you please. So let's get started seated. We'll drop the shoulders down. Sometimes I like to just kind of shake out the elbows. Hands can rest on the knees. Find a comfy seat, whether it's the legs out long or crossed. Find your seat on the mat and start to anchor down from those points of contact on the mat, growing up tall through the spine. The crown of the head lifts toward the ceiling. And then just adjusting our gaze, so just nice and soft with the gaze. And maybe the vision starts to slightly become less focused. And maybe we can just exist here for a moment, relaxing what we can, maybe the knees, the legs, the muscles around the spine, maybe slightly shifting around just a little bit, some free form movement. Maybe moving the torso in some circles in one direction. And then always taking it in the opposite direction. And then find some stillness. Rest the eyes shut for just a moment, just examining our inner space. Checking in with where we're at in this moment. Perhaps we just woke up and it's the morning, or maybe it's the middle or the end of our day. And we can be present here, and we can also acknowledge some feelings that might be residual or lingering from the recent past. And just recognizing them, taking a nice exhale, letting something go, and then breathing in through the nose, filling the lungs with air. Hold it at the top, relax the jaw, the shoulders, soften what you can, and then exhale through the mouth, side out. Again, like that, rolling through an inhale. Growing taller, relax everything, unclench the jaw, and then exhale. Fluttering the eyes. Open only when you're ready. We'll take some seated cat-cows. Inhale, draw the chest forward, look up. Exhale, tuck the chin in, roll the shoulders forward. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, tuck it in. Again. Make it dramatic, exaggerated. And final time here. Really nice. Let it go. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Look between the hands. Breathe in. And as we exhale, drop the right hand down. Reach the left arm up and over. Start to bend at that right elbow. Maybe take the gaze up toward the ceiling. Stack the shoulders. Keep the left sits bone rooted into the earth. Breathe in and out. Inhale, rise up. Reach the arms up, fingertips toward the ceiling. Breathing in. And exhale, let's take it to the other side. Open it up, lengthen. And exhale, get a bit deeper. Side body stretch. Next, inhale, rise up. Arms overhead. Hands come together at prayer and draw those hands down toward the sternum. Let's gaze down toward the index fingers, soft with that gaze. And just taking a moment for ourselves here. Honoring what's behind us, what's presently here, and what's to come. And then dropping the arms down, let's find a tabletop pose. So come on to all fours. Check in with the wrists one at a time, rolling them out. Pick up one hand off the mat. And then the other. Placing the hands down on the mat, spread the fingertips wide and just gently shift forward and back, gripping the mat with the fingertips. Maybe the hips reach all the way down to the heels. And then pulling the mat in with the hands, shifting it forward only as far as feels good on those wrists. Shift it back, maybe arching the spine a little bit, drawing the chest through center. Imagine you're pulling the mat toward you. And then pressing into the mat, we can dome up the spine. Maybe you exhale here, shift it forward. Inhale for a cow spine as you shift the hips back, maybe tapping the heels. And exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Maybe inhaling, looking up, keeping that nice extension of the spine. And then exhaling, flexing the spine, chin toward chest. Inhale, send it back. This time exhale, come to neutral table. Bringing the knees underneath the hips. And we'll take a balancing table. So send the left arm long and then the right leg long. Toes point down toward the mat. And we're reaching forward. That palm is facing toward the right side here. Let's go ahead and bend that back knee and see if we can reach around for the top of the foot. Press the foot into the hand. Grow taller. Really cinch in the rib cage. Take a good breath. In and out. And then we'll gently start to release that, reaching forward and back, and set the left hand down. We're gonna cross the right toes off to the left side of the mat, that left back corner. And then we're just gonna shift it forward and back. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and drop that back knee behind the left. And then we're gonna walk the hands back, coming toward the back of our space in a cow face pose. So let's go ahead and bring the hands to the tops of the feet, and right away you might feel this deep hip stretch, especially of the left side. And we can inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, gently plant them on the mat in front of you. Maybe take a gentle fold. You can also opt to keep the hands on the tops of the feet here, and just gently folding the chest and the upper body over the legs. Breathing in and out. And just being here with this shape, being okay with not rushing off to the next thing. All right, we can bring the hands out in front of us and start to find momentum, shifting it forward, unraveling, bringing the top of the left foot back on the mat and re-extending those right toes behind you. Shift it forward and back. Let's take a couple cat-cows here. So inhale, drop belly, look up. Exhale, tuck it in. Inhale. And exhale. All right, let's see if we can find some balance here. So we're gonna shift our weight into that left hand and then maybe peel up the right hand, coming to the toes of the back foot, reaching up, really pelvic thrust the hips forward, stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Beautiful. And we'll start to unwind it, set it down. Pick up the back foot, Send those toes facing down toward the mat, and then go ahead and find your tabletop once again. Bump the hips left and right. Grip the mat with the fingers. If at any point you want to come to the fists, that's always an option. Roll the shoulders a bit. Find a neutral spine, tucking that tailbone under, just a touch. And then we'll find our balancing table on the other side. Reach forward with the right arm, send the left leg back. Toes point down, take a breath in. And as we exhale, maybe bend that back knee, reach around for the toes or the top of the foot, find that bind. Breathe in, push the mat away and breathe out. Another breath in. And we can gently start to release that, reaching forward and back. Set the right hand down. Drop those toes off to the right side of the mat this time. Shift it forward and back. Feel a calf stretch in the left leg. Beautiful. And then we'll set the knee down behind the right knee this time. Walking the hips back between the heels. Find our seat. And maybe grab for the tops of the feet. We'll inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, take a gentle fold. Any version of this, hands out in front of you or with that bind to the feet. Fold the body forward. Check in with the mind. Two more breaths here. And we'll start to set those hands in front of us, shift it forward, pick up those hips. We're gonna re-extend the left toes. And then let's see if we can find some balance here. So we're gonna shift into the right side and pick up the left hand, open it up. Maybe rotating that left heel out toward the right side this time. Stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Really engaging the lower back muscles, the hips, the glutes. Breathe in. And as you exhale, set that down. We'll start to shift it forward and back. And then we'll take some cat-cows here. Drop the belly, looking up. Beautiful, tuck the tailbone under. Exhale. Again, for cow. And cat. Last one. All right, neutral spine. Pick up the left toes, send them long behind you, square those hips, and then set that down. Find a puppy pose. So we'll start to walk the palms out, keeping the hips over the knees. Only walk them as far as feels good. Spread the fingers and then relax the hands. Maybe lower the forearms. Maybe keep your gaze between the thumbs, really feeling this deep opening of the shoulders here. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, from here we're gonna slither it down to our bellies. So bending at the elbows, shifting the body forward. We're gonna walk the knees back and find ourselves on the mat. Let's bring the hands underneath the collarbones, under the shoulders. Really hug the elbows toward the rib cage. Let all the stale air out of the lungs. Bring the big toes closer to one another. They don't have to touch. And then inhale, peel the head, the chest off the mat. Really engaging the low back muscles here. Fire them up. Hug the elbows in. Breathe in and out. And then breathe in here. Lengthen and then exhale, lower. Lower the forehead down. Beautiful, little grasshopper wings. And then we're gonna send our right arm long, teeing it out. That palm rests on the ground beside you. rest the right temple down, and then we're gonna press into the left hand, roll up to the right side. We're gonna find broken wing pose. Maybe from here you bend up the left knee and step that foot behind the right knee. And you can stay right here, or you can drape the left arm behind the back, opening the front of the shoulder and feeling this spinal twist. Breathe in and out. We can unravel, bringing the left hand down to start, and then really using that hand to help us gradually unwind the spine, stacking the legs and coming back to our belly. Let's take a little transition pose, so both hands underneath the shoulders, and we'll come into a low cobra or up dog. So I give you the options. You can either take the one we initially took, or you can press into the tops of the feet, press into the hands, and really using the strength, we can lift up, but we're gonna lift the thighs and the knees off the mat. So breathing in and out, you can keep your gaze neutral in front of you. Engage the belly, protecting the back. And then we can bend at the elbows and lower our body back down to the mat, wherever we are. Let's stretch out our left arm, hand rests on the mat, hand rests on the ground, and then we can place our left temple down, press into the right hand, roll up left side. Take any variations here that feel good. We're gonna be here for a few breaths. Alrighty, let's roll it back down to the belly. Take your time, step by step. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Maybe tuck the toes here. We're gonna go for either a low cobra or an up dog. So I'm gonna demonstrate the up dog. We'll press into the hands, lift up at the knees, the thighs, everything is off the mat. Maybe you take the gaze up just a little bit. And then if you're in low cobra, you can come to child's pose and then transition to down dog. If you're in up dog, let's start to engage the belly, lift the hips, and send the hips up and back for downward dog. We'll all meet in downward dog right away. Pedal out the feet. Maybe bend one knee and the other, lowering one heel at a time. Press into the mat. Find your inverted V, adjust the distance between the hands and the feet. Maybe shift the hips side to side. Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna take a little bit of a challenge here. So we're gonna see if we can come into dolphin pose from here. So we can start to lower the left forearm down, coming down to that forearm, and then the right arm down. Both forearms down on the mat. And then we can bring the heels really, really, really high and shift the shoulders over the elbows here. And then we can drop those heels once again. We can take a couple scapula push-ups as well. So we can look between our forearms and we can dip the chest a little lower and then really press into the forearms and activate, pushing the mat away. And then dipping low, push the mat away. Beautiful. Look between the feet, and then maybe you walk those feet in, even if it's just an inch or two more. Shoulders should be stacking over the elbows. Maybe you look forward. Beautiful. And then we'll walk those feet back one at a time. Let's come up to our hands for our downward dog. Press into the hands, and then we'll walk the feet up to meet the hands. Look between the hands, deep bend in the knees, walk it up. Top of the mat, forward fold. Bring the feet as wide as the hips. Grab for opposite elbows and sway side to side. Let this feel good, as deep of a bend in the knees as you need. Shake the head yes and no, look between the legs. Drop the hands toward the mat and then roll up ever so slowly, grounding through the feet. Roll the shoulders up and back. Tadasana, mountain pose. Ground through the feet, palms shine forward, tuck the tailbone under, engage the lower belly. Feel strong and proud here. And then we'll inhale, reach the arms up overhead, and exhale, take a forward fold. Inhale, find some length. Hands can come to shins. Press into those shins, elongate the spine, shoulders draw away from the ears, and then deepen in the knees. We'll bring the hands to the mat. Exhaling, step the right foot back, and then the left high plank here. Breathe in. And exhale, send the hips up and back, heels drop down, downward facing dog. Let's inhale, lift the right leg, lift left heel, and then lower it, deep stretch to the back of that left leg. Stack the right hip on top of left, bend the knee, circle the hip. Shift the weight back into the right hand, and then square off those hips, right leg long. We're gonna shift it forward, draw that knee toward nose, and step it between the hands. Lower the back knee down, untuck those toes, reach the arms up, rise up. Bring the hands to the hips, get the pelvis underneath you, so pelvic tilt, tuck it under, and then start to shift the hips forward. And you can have this right foot out a little wider to the outer edge of the mat if you would like more space. Inhale, reach the arms up. Beautiful. Exhale, settle in. And then we'll find a half split, sending the hips back, bringing a slight bend to that front knee, but for the most part, straightening out the leg. Flex the toes back toward the face. Use the fingertips to ground you on either side of the right leg, and fold it forward over that right leg. Draw the shoulders back, chest forward. In and out. Beautiful. Maybe windshield wipe the right foot. Big toe can tap on the mat, internal rotation, and then pinky side can tap on the mat, external rotation. And then we can bring the toes back to point toward the ceiling. Start to walk it forward, framing the front foot. This time we're gonna bring both hands to the inside of that right foot, heel toe, that foot off to the edge of the mat. So toes are off the mat, heel is on the mat. We're gonna come to a lizard lunge. So you can check in that the back ankle is in line with the back knee. Hands are grounded into the mat. And for a little extra challenge, you can tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Shine the chest forward, maybe looking slightly up. And then we can start to slowly lower that back knee, untuck the back toes. Let's lift our right hand and see if we can press it to the inner right thigh, rolling onto the pinky edge side of the right foot. Maybe gazing back toward the right side. Beautiful, and let's start to rotate back toward the front, bring the sole of the foot on the mat. And then we can see if we can walk down to our forearms. Just a few more breaths here in our lizard lunge on the right. Breathe in, breathe out. You can be back on the pinky edge side of that right foot. Walk it up to the hands. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, and let's see if we can heel toe that foot off as far as we need, and then step it back in line with the left, downward facing dog. Press into the hands, pedal it out. And then find neutral down dog. Let's lift the left leg. Pick up the right heel, and then lower it. Stack the hips, bend the left knee, roll the hip around. And then when you're ready, stack those hips and then square it off. We're gonna shift it forward, knee toward nose, step the foot between the hands. Take your time, lower the back knee down, untuck the toes, and then sweep the arms up, rise up. Tall through the spine, hands on hips, find the adjustment of the hips. So that might mean that you need to shift the hips back just a little bit, get the hips underneath you, and then re-sit low into that lunge. Arms reach up. Breathe in, breathe out. And then we can start to frame the front leg. Use the fingertips to guide you back. Hips come back over the right knee, and then we can flex the left toes back toward the face. Half splits. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. 2 more breaths here. If you want to take the little taps, windshield wiping the left foot side to side. Keep a bend to that left knee. And then we'll start to walk it on forward. Coming back to our lunge, we're gonna bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot. Heel toe that left foot off the edge of the mat. Make sure the ankle is still in line with the knee. And then we're here in our lizard lunge, so we can either tuck the toes and lift the back knee, really finding length from the crown of the head all the way to the right heel. Or stay lowered, but propped up on the hands. Wherever you are, get that back knee back on the ground, untuck those toes, and then maybe you roll to the knife edge of the left foot, pick up the left hand, press into the left thigh, maybe looking behind you on that left side. All right, let's bring it back forward. Hands come to the inside of the left leg, and we're gonna go for a couple more breaths in lizard lunge. So maybe you come down to the forearms. Maybe you really open up the left hip. All right, start to walk it back up. And we can heel toe that left foot off to the side, pick up the back toes, the back knee, send the hips up and back, and then find downward dog. Pedal it out. And let's lower the knees down. We're gonna sit the hips onto the heels here. And we're gonna find a rabbit pose. So right away, we're gonna bring the hands to cup the heels. So the fingers are on the inside, the thumbs are on the outside. And then we're gonna bring our chin toward our chest, and we're gonna start to roll it down so we can see if we can reach the crown of the head to the mat, right in front of our knees. Let the shoulders and the elbows relax. And then when you're ready, you can start to pick up the hips, keeping the grip of the hands on the heels. Pick them up as high as feels good, really feeling a stretch between the scapula, the entire spine. And then maybe you start to walk the knees in one at a time if you're comfortable here. Lifting the hips slightly more. Breathe in, breathe out, feel the constriction. And when you're ready, start to lower the hips on down. And just reversing our way out of this. Slowly rising. Roll the shoulders back. Maybe you look up. All right, we're gonna cross at the ankles and bring those legs out in front of us. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Flex the toes back toward the face. Exhale, fold over those legs. Maybe you reach for the toes. Maybe you plant the hands on the sides of the legs. Two more breaths. Okay, start to roll it up. We're gonna reach the arms forward, walk those hips forward so that you're toward the bottom of the mat here. And then we're gonna use our core and start to lower ourselves all the way down to the mat. Take as much time as you like. And once you get there, stretch in opposite directions. Reach the fingertips up, the toes toward the bottom of the mat. And then we'll bring the arms down, bend one knee and the other. And let's go ahead and hug the knees in, roll around. Beautiful. Send the legs long overhead. Maybe bring the hands to the backs of the thighs, flex the toes, and then point the toes, roll the ankles around. Draw the shoulders toward the ground. And then bend up the knees. Squeeze it all in. Lift the head. Really squeeze everything, even the face. And then let it all go. Let's come to our final resting pose, Savasana. So you can always wedge something underneath the knees for some low back support, or you can take any variation of Savasana. Maybe the eyes rest shut. The tongue can fall away from the roof of the mouth. Notice anything that might still be holding on to some resistance, and just let it go if you can. Drawing the breath in from the heart space. Fresh air. Exhale, settle into the mat. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Calling the senses back in. You can bend at the elbows, maybe rest the hands on the belly. Bend at the knees, one at a time. And then roll onto your preferred side. Taking a moment for gratitude. And just reflection, acknowledging the work. Press it up to a seat when you're ready. Eyes can be closed or open. Crossing the legs, if that feels okay. Bring the hands to the heart center. Take a breath in and out. And then maybe you bow to close your practice out. Rising when you're ready, as always, continuing to take care of our mind, body, and soul. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.